Joining us right now from Baltimore Sun, BaltimoreSun.com. He is MIke Preston. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Rob. How are you and Jeremy and Ed? How's the gang?
Man, I feel like we're in romper room right now.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I see Mike. I see Jeremy. I see
great.
Joe. I see Ed.
Oh, man.
Mike, to me, as heartbreaking as it was, there could not have been a more appropriate ending to the Ravens 2025 season than what we saw on Sunday Night Football.
I think you're correct. And that's the way the season went down. That's the way the heartbreak occurred. And I felt bad for Tyler Luke because he is a good guy. He's a nice person. And I love that he stood up and he manned up and said, no, it was my fault. I blew this. I'll take that because earlier in the season, you had guys on this team that wouldn't do that. He did that, and he'll be okay. I think he's going to be pretty good down the road. So it happens. And, hey, Rob, at the beginning of the season, this is exactly what we talked about. Just said, no, he's got to get in those cold climates and those situations where there's playoff aspirations on the line, and can he make that? And he didn't. And that's exactly what we talked about earlier in the year.
Mike, what do you think the future holds for Zach Orr? That defense can't tackle. The coverages seem like the receivers are running wide open in the secondary. It can't be the players all forgot how to play football. I mean, do you think he's here next year?
That's going to be interesting to see what goes on there. I haven't heard that Harbaugh has put out any feelers for coordinators on either side of the ball. But when you watch what happened to that defense, and you saw it throughout the season, this didn't just happen in the last couple games. And that's even more glaring, Ed, is that when you get to the final 2 weeks of the regular season and they're still having problems on the back end, there's something going on. They're not getting the message, or the football IQ is not very good. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I thought Monken called one of his better games. At least he stuck with Derrick Henry throughout most of the game. But, Pittsburgh came out and they started run blitzing a lot in that second half, and they took him out. And then they went over the top, which was a smart thing to do. But Monken, what do you do with him? How's his relationship with Lamar Jackson? There's a lot of things that has to come into play here. I don't know. I do not know.
Mike, how different does this offensive line look next year? A lot of talk about people didn't like Falele. Linderbaum didn't have a great year, but do you want to let him walk and try to find another center? And even Voorhees looked like he got bullied a little bit in this last game.
Well, the thing is stop putting the emphasis on going to get these big road graders and just go out and find offensive linemen who can do everything, who can pass block, who can run block, who can get after people, who can pull and get down the field, which is something that they haven't done in the last 2 or 3 years. Those are the things you have to go out and find these guys. And you do that. What do you do with Lamar Jackson? He's making $75 million for the next 2 years. What do you do with that contract? And do you say, do I take that money and go and invest in offensive linemen or defensive linemen? I would, because to me, that's where the game is still won. Your 5 fat guys have to beat their 5 fat guys. That's so simple, but it's true. And that's what they have to get back to doing. And then we'll see. But this is going to be a very interesting offseason. And the owner, Steve Bisciotti, you need to step up to the plate and get out there and tell people what you're going to do, because people want to know. And you were 8-9 with the most talented roster in the history of the Baltimore Ravens.
MIke Preston joins us, Baltimore Sun, BaltimoreSun.com. Mike, speaking of Lamar Jackson's contract, there have been people on the national level that said that the Ravens and Lamar are in talks about a contract extension, and that would alleviate that $75 million. What do you know about that?
Well, you keep hearing about talks, but I haven't heard of things. Rob, this is what I try to get across to the Ravens and Lamar Jackson in the last 2 weeks. Stop the coddling and stop the babying and talk to him like he's a young man. And I learned that from a person who was my cousin who said, no, you got to just talk to him. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And address it. And guess what happened? He actually practiced last week. Rob, he went out with a flak jacket on. Oh, my goodness. If you tell him you're accountable, you are accountable to this city, to this team, all right? And you need to step up your game, and he did. He responded. So maybe the Ravens need to try that approach instead of always saying, oh, my gosh, he's withdrawn. He goes into it. Well, that happens a lot when you're the best player on the team for quite a while or the best player in college football. That happens, but you still need to address it, and you still need to keep your principles. Talk to him like a young man. That's all.
And Mike, what do you think about the Awuzie's play? I thought he had a great. I mean, I know he slipped and fell, and cost them big, but overall, I thought he looked pretty good. Do you think he's going to be part of this secondary?
I would bring him back, but before I did that, Ed, I would try to find out who my coaches are.
Yeah.
And then you go from there. Because right now, you've got to question the IQ of these players, too. You just got to look at it and say, wait a minute, something's not getting through. And you brought in Chuck Pagano. He was the DB coach. Well, you brought him in. He's supposed to add and give some credence to this defense and what they're about. But you didn't see that. And I don't know. I mean, once Kyle Hamilton went down, they had serious issues. They had problems. Well, you can't put it on one guy. To me, you can't do that. Other guys have to step up, and that didn't happen either. And let's not forget, guys, both of those teams, both of the Steelers and the Ravens were ranked 29 in pass defense in the NFL before the game, and it showed. You saw that out on the field because they were going up and down the field. I'm like, why is Patrick Queen covering Zay Flowers on that touchdown pass? That doesn't make any sense. There were a lot of things that went on in that game that didn't make any sense, but it was exciting. It was fun to watch, that's for sure.
Mike, as we, obviously it's the end of the year, looking at all the changes that could happen, I saw an article written about the personnel and how difficult it's going to be for the Ravens to kind of put this thing back together next year. Do you think this is just reload and get back to it, or do you think there might be some time where, it's going to take a while to get the roster where they need it to be?
Well, it doesn't take a while in the National Football League. That's what they have the salary cap for, right?
Yep.
You look at the Patriots. What did they win? 4 games, 5 games the year before?
Yeah.
And now they're right there. The Panthers or Carolina, look at those guys. You can do it. And that's what it's about, is you can rebuild and reshape in a year. You see that happening, and no, they're not that far away. The Ravens aren't really that far away. I mean, they got some issues, but nah, they're there, and they will be there next year, and they'll be in contention. And remember, guys, they do play in the AFC North. It is not the most talented division, and we saw that Sunday night.
There he is, MIke Preston, Baltimore Sun, BaltimoreSun.com. Mike, thanks a lot, my man.
Hey, and before you go, Rob, I want to thank all you guys. I mean, it's been a season, a long season, some early mornings, but I thank you guys for being there and coming in and having that camaraderie. That's a great thing to have, and I appreciate you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Thank you.
You add a lot to the show, man. We appreciate you.
Definitely.